morning, everyone. Hope you had a nice long 3-day weekend. Hope you got outside and enjoyed some of the better weather that we had. Hope you're well rested, ready for another week. We got a short week this week, only 4 days, because we had Monday off. But it is worth noting that there are only 5 A and B days left in the marking period this week and next week. So keep that in mind of class to finish everything up. So you want to start thinking about what we still have to do and what maybe you still have to make up within those next 5 days. So Woods 1, we're going to be finishing up our sign project. You'll see there's a assignment published, which is the CNC project completed assignment, where you'll take a picture of it after you've sanded it, and you can just turn it in, explain the process. It's all the details are over there in the module. But first I want to take a moment and talk a little bit about safety with sanding. So the sandpaper you have is just by hand. When you're hand sanding, you don't create a lot of dust, but when you're power sanding, you do have a lot of dust, which is usually why whenever I'm sanding something, I go outside. So I'd recommend, even if you are hand sanding, is to do it outside. Sanding in your house is messy. You're going to create sawdust. Sanding in the wood shop, same. That's why we sweep up when we're done. So it's nice to sand outside. Find a nice little spot and sand, because you don't really want to breathe the dust. The sanding dust from the wood, isn't good. That's why we have a lot of dust collection and vacuum systems with all of the machines. But when we hand sand, you don't really have a vacuum system with hand sanding. So hand sanding doesn't create a ton of dust, but you still don't want to breathe it. Everybody's unique. Everybody has different allergies and things. And usually when you're in the wood shop, we have lots of air purifiers going. So if you sand at home, you want to make sure you're in the right environment too. Especially if you're also going to use paint. If you paint something and you want to sand the paint, you don't want to breathe that dust either. So keep all of that in mind. I don't know what you have. If you're in class, we go through all of it in the room, but at home, if you decide to use anything like that, you always got to be aware of that. So you don't want to breathe any of that dust in. You got masks, be outside, whatever. Just to make sure you don't have it laying around. You clean up when you're done. It's important even with these little things to be safe, because wood dust can irritate your nose if you get it all in there. And yeah, just don't breathe it. A lot of times on sandpaper, in fact, it will say that you need to be careful about what you're sanding. If you use a certain kind of paint, sometimes it'll tell you right on the can of paint whether it's what the safety precautions are for the sanding residue or the dust. But basic rule of thumb, don't breathe it in. So yeah, Woods 1, go to the module. We're going to finish up that sign. We want to make sure you pick up the sign from the atrium. I'm going to put a couple pieces of sandpaper with it and leave it up in the atrium for you to pick up. For those of you who are scheduled to come in, when you come in, that's when we can sand and paint and finish these up, maybe put a coat of clear coat on them. So next time you come in, that's what we'll focus on. Sand it nicely and then take a picture of it, turn it in. Woods 2, want to finish up turning in the final design. I like to cut them all out this week, so make sure you get those final designs turned in. And Woods 3 and 4, we're going to talk about what's coming up in the Google Meet, so I'll talk about it there. So that will wrap it up for today. Remember, Morristown cares about you. I care about you. Be excellent to each other.